where great cigars meet great conversations. This is Poppa Peace Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the newest episode of Poppa Peace Podcast. I'm Scott, Poppa P. Partridge.
And I'm Dale Hickman, one of the owners here, and I work with Scott every day.
He's basically my left-hand man here. So, and we also got Miss Emmy back here behind the scenes. She's our producer, and she keeps us on time, and more importantly, she keeps us in line.
That's right.
And we interviewed several people to see who we could get that could keep us in line.
That's pretty hard.
It's a tough job.
Yeah.
It's a tough job. We get it. You know what? We're going to do a very interesting show today. We're going to talk about taking the jump and our journey from just a straightforward retail store into a full-fledged lounge, cigar bar. It's been quite a journey, and it's kind of been a fascinating story. We had a bunch of, at least I did, a lot of sleepless nights.
Oh gosh.
A lot of wondering, is this ever going to work out or not? But kind of take us back to where this whole idea kind of started.
Well, sure. It was the winter of 2023, and we were in the midst of working out and had an opportunity to buy the entire building where our big brother is Cool Springs Wine and Spirits up in the front of this building. And the owners, our group, had an opportunity to buy the building. And what's really unique about this building is this space where we're sitting today in the studio green room.
Studio GR?
Oh, yes. Was vacant. And from a business standpoint, we were like, well, having about just less than 20% of your space empty and not producing revenue didn't sound like a great idea to us. But at the same time, we had an idea. And in that winter of 23, Brett Moore and I asked Scott if he would spend a little time with us, and we brought him up to speed about the opportunity to buy the building. And I think it was a Thursday. And said to Scott, we were wondering, what is your opinion? Because our retail cigar and humidor in the back left corner of Cool Springs Wine and Spirits was very successful. And for a lot of reasons, but one big reason, and that's Poppa P. And the question was, what if we move Poppa P smoke shop 75 feet down the sidewalk to the back of the building in that empty space that you were very familiar with, would, number one, do you think that would affect your business? And Scott says, no, absolutely not. And then we said, wait a minute, we want you to answer that question on Monday. And we're going to get back together in the late afternoon on Monday, and we're going to talk through it after, that'd be 3 days to kind of ponder. And so...
Yeah. So, and when I said, would it affect our business, I just kind of quickly said that without thinking through it.
Well,
So
there's some side.
Because for those of you that are familiar with the old Poppa P's and where we were, like Dale said, down inside the wine and liquor store, it was purely a retail location.
Yeah, and it was a separate, wholly owned subsidiary of Cool Springs Wine and Spirits, still is, but it was doing such a good job and was steady Eddie. We did not want to mess that up. Speaking of, we need to backtrack a little bit, Scott, because as we got started, we were excited about telling people about our journey to retail. What are you smoking today?
My gosh, I was going to interrupt you there, but I said, well, that'd be rude. I'm smoking a Perdomo 10th anniversary Maduro Figurado, and it's an incredible little cigar. And I think it's one that a lot of people overlook in the Perdomo line. And this little Figurado is just a great little cigar. So.
Oh. Well, I am also smoking a little jewel that it's one of the new Deadwood from Drew Estates, and it's the Dominicana, and it's a little baby one. It's like a petite Corona, but that's not what they call it. But it is a great little cigar.
He refers to those as dog walking cigars.
Oh yeah, these are dog
walkers.
Yeah, little 30-minute guys.
Yep.
So anyway, that's what we're smoking today, and we had to push the pause button in our journey down the sidewalk here to tell you about that.
But anyway, they approached me about this idea, and the reality is, I don't know if I think I later told them, but I'm right up there in age, and I was kind of at a point where I was kind of contemplating how much longer I wanted to keep doing what I was doing, even though it was very successful. But I had about 450 square feet to work with. That's humidor, retail storefront, and all. And I was at a point.
Oh, you had a big
where,
office.
Well, I had a dungeon in the back closet.
Under the steps.
Under the steps. Yeah. But I was kind of reaching this point where, well, how much more can I do here? And it was, I don't want to say, I don't really know the right words, but it was just routine. It was just, it was just doing very well, but it was there was really nowhere else to take the business to the next level, just due to the setup there. And
Sure.
So they told me to spend a few days thinking about it, and then to get back and give them some thoughts.
So 3 days later, on a Monday afternoon, we got back to Scott, and really before we even sat down in the upstairs at Cool Springs Wine and Spirits, Scott said, my answer hadn't changed. The answer is yes. And that I don't think cigar sales would be impacted. But I've been thinking about it, and Brett and I had talked about this too, and it had come up maybe 2 years before, kind of in passing fun conversations, maybe over a cocktail. And we said, well, Scott said, if you really want to take this to the next level, we need to have a full functioning lounge with a full bar. And we were prepared for that because for many reasons, but the number one reason is this space is right at 3,000 square feet, and that's way too big for just cigars. And what we wound up doing is, it's not exactly, but it's darn close to 1/3 retail. Scott has a very nice office now. And then 2/3, or just over 2,000 square feet of our lounge and bar area and green room that we have here.
Yeah. So as I spent 2 or 3 days really thinking about it and what it would take to do it. And for me, from a personal level, if we're going to jump into this, I knew we had to do it right. We had to be unique and different, from anything else that's in the area. And when I started just thinking in my head what it would take to do this, when I finally did sit down to give you guys my thoughts, I kind of figured, well, I probably have blown this opportunity once they hear what my thoughts are on what we got to do to make this right.
That's right.
But lo and behold, I told them, I said, listen, we got to make this not just your typical cigar shop or lounge. We got to be unique. We got to be different. The point that I thought could be the thing that brought an end to us when I told them how important it was that we make smoke control
A priority.
Yeah. And
one of your main points was, and it was a number one thing when we began, we're talking to our architect at Design Object. They did a fantastic job. Abby Spear and Jesse Brown said we need and we require that the retail be separate from the lounge. So talk about that a little bit.
Well, it was important to me. One thing before moving into this big space is we had created a customer base of a lot of females, and one of the reasons they like coming in is they could buy cigars for sometimes themselves, but a lot of times their husbands, their boyfriends. They may be a secretary for somebody at an office, but they'd love to buy cigars from us because they could just come in. It was like a normal retail store. They didn't have to walk through smoke. And to me, it was very important that we didn't lose that aspect. And there's people in the industry would say, well, you're a cigar shop and you don't allow smoking. Well, we do allow smoking, just not up here where the customers are coming in all the time. And we also had built up a great business of business people that would just want to come in, buy a box of cigars. They either had to head back to their office or whatever, and didn't want to encounter the smoke just while they were just making a purchase. And we'd heard that, from various shops around the country where people would say, I just went in to buy cigars, and by the time I got back out to my car, I could smell the cigar smoke. So
Right.
for me, it was very important to be able to maintain that. So, and fortunately, we have.
Sure. And when or if you've been here, you see that we achieved that. So that was an absolute priority. And then when we came into the cigar lounge itself, was we needed to be different in 2 or 3 ways. But number one, which had a priority of separating retail from lounge, was being different in how we attacked and addressed our smoke. And then we'll pause there, but say, and then also have a really awesome bar.
Yeah.
So the awesome bar is great. We'll get some pictures of that up maybe somehow in this and show you what that looks like. So I spent 33 years in commercial and industrial construction, so we had friends in the industry, and I reached out to one of my friends that I'd known for over 25 years, Miss Jess Garner, and said, hey, Jess, here's what we're thinking about doing. Have you ever done a smoking lounge, cigar lounge? She goes, matter of fact, I've done 4 or 5. And she said, but if you're going to do this, you got to do it different than anybody else. And we were like, she didn't know this. But she was like, well, that's exactly. I want to know, is smoke eaters, filtration, what are you talking about? And she goes, well, this costs a lot more money than that. But I'm going to suggest it, and then y'all can go from there, is don't filter. Hopefully I won't nerd out too much on my construction lingo here, but you're going to evacuate all the smoke. Do not filter it. Blow it out the back of the building. And I knew exactly what that meant from my experience in the construction industry with HVAC. I was like, well, in a normal environment, you're actually in a commercial building, you're supposed to evacuate 20% of your air, and an 80-20 rule. That meant and recycle 80%. Well, to do what she was talking about, that meant we had to bring in 100% new air at any moment, which just from the simplest terms, that means you have to heat or cool the air with a separate special air conditioner system, then dump it back into a regular air conditioning system. And I was like, oh, that's going to cost a lot of money. And it did. And all right, we'll jump ahead. So we chose to do that. She did a fantastic job with the design, coordinated that with our design team, with Abby and Jesse, and went from there.
Yeah, and I, on that aspect of it was so fascinating for me. You've done this your whole career. For me, like just sitting in meetings and watching, the architects present to us what they actually came to me and interviewed me, just to talk about, to try to get my vision and my understanding of what I thought this should be. And they also went to other shops, not just locally. They went to some out of the area.
And I think another component that was really nice, and can't thank the other cigar lounges in town, is we kind of went in that springtime while we had already started cooking up the design and put that in the pot to start stirring, and go visit other places and to say, hey, how do you do it? And the community is so open and welcoming, and we spent time at several different lounges over about a 2 or 3 month time frame through the springtime while we were developing our drawings, to learn about what they were doing and ask, what would you do better? What would you not do? All those typical business questions. And we just got incredible feedback. And that was really thanks to Scott and his reputation in town for those several lounges and bars to open up kind of their cookbook as well about what they've done and what they would do different and what makes their businesses successful. Yeah. So all of a sudden it's early summer. We've got our first second pass at drawings, and we said, and from my experience, it's possible. Can we get this thing open in early 2024? We just started talking about it in early 2023. I knew the answer was yes, but we had to get those drawings finished. And
under my breath, I was thinking, there's no way in heck.
Well, end of the story is we did. But we went through a process of a couple of iterations and moving this and changing that, which is typical in the design and process. And then we settled quickly on what you see today when you come here. And by July, we had a permit set of documents, submitted it to the city of Franklin, and in September we had a permit. And about the week after Labor Day, we started with a goal of opening the first week of January. And we actually were on target with that. But if you guys remember, in early January, we had Snowmageddon 2 years ago. And that put us off with delivery of a couple of pieces of our bar equipment and our furniture by about 3 weeks, which kind of made me mad because we were going to make it actually kind of before Christmas. We had our Franklin was awesome, and we had everything done the week of Christmas, and we were done, but we didn't have all of our furniture. And then it snowed, and then we had some other family issues that came up. And then next thing you know, it was an easy decision, but guess we could have made it. Actually, a little bit early, but we opened up on February 4th, 2024, Thursday before the Super Bowl. And then our first event, and we had no idea what we're doing, by the way.
I think the way that panned out is, we were able to open the front retail part.
Yeah, a little earlier.
We were waiting on a few final things for the lounge and bar area.
Yeah.
And, it went far smoother than even I thought it may have.
Yeah, and we were fortunate and because of the experience that we had in construction and having the relationships we had through our big brother up the sidewalk at Cool Springs Wine and Spirits, mainly from our distributors, to walk us through what does it take to get your liquor license and your beer permit. Also, because they're two different pieces to the puzzle, and we started that process actually in the summer, and had everything ready to go when we opened. And I'm not saying it was easy, but when you plan and you talk and you ask questions, it can be done. And here we are. So it was quite the journey, and it happened in basically 1 year.
Mm-hmm. And it's been such a blast. I often tell people that it's kind of neat. I don't mind telling you. I'm 62 years old, and I would have never dreamt I'd be doing this at this level. At this point in my life, but it's neat, and there's never a morning I get up and say, man, I wish I didn't have to go do that today. And it's just been a blast, and and learning the retail side of it with cigars, that was a pretty easy transition from down there to here. We refer to it as 2 doors down.
Mm-hmm.
But the lounge side, I've had experience with that in the past where I've had a lounge and stuff, but having the full bar and everything, it was all new to me.
Sure.
And it was a learning experience, and we're still learning.
We'll learn every day.
Every day.
If you don't mess up every day, you're not learning something. I think we're pretty good at that messing up part.
Yep, and learning all the ins and outs of that. A lot of people that are watching this would think, well, that'd be easy for you guys. You have a wine and liquor store. Well, the way laws and stuff are completely separate. We cannot go down there and stock our bar from 2 doors down.
Yeah, that's a state law.
state
And,
law. So
we don't. It sure would be easy.
Yeah.
But that's not how you can do it in the state of Tennessee.
Yeah.
And in other states, that's actually how you have to do it.
yeah,
So it is confusing to some of our customers.
Mhm.
Another interesting twist that we have as I'm not going to say this right, we're a designated smoking facility with the state of Tennessee, which is, I'm confident to say that in some states, those don't exist anymore.
Right.
But at least in a good old, the South,
Yeah.
that's going to last for a pretty long time. So what that means to be a designated smoking facility, I think that's close to the right words. Different than a bar is that you have to be 21 to enter. You can be under 21 to go to any bar. Think about a restaurant that has a bar in it. You take kids in there. You can be 20 3/4 and go in there, but you can't have a drink. But to come into a smoking lounge, you must be 21 to come in that door for my retail. So that's another actually thing we slipped into with having it be separate. So that's been interesting twist to have to learn. And it doesn't come up as often as I expected, but maybe once a month.
But
will
yeah,
come up.
and we'll get people call and of course, the legal smoking age is to sell tobacco is 21.
Right.
And that's a nationwide thing. It's not unique to us here. But we do get that question a lot is, they want to come in, but they got a 19 or 20-year-old with them. Said, well, they're not going to drink or smoke. They just want to hang out with us.
And we can't.
Unfortunately, we can't. But
That's right.
but it's been a blast,
Yeah.
and my background for many, many years was in the music and entertainment industry. And what's been neat here with this lounge, how many square feet altogether do we have? We went
3,000.
from 450 square feet to about
The
3,000
whole space
square
is
feet.
literally like 2,998. So we're going to call that 3,000.
Yeah.
The front is 950. And the back is 2,050. We have had a great experience, like you said, and we've said over and over, it's been such a fun ride, and we're actually just getting started.
Yeah.
And we're having at least once a month, and in reality, 2 to 3 times a month events. And those have proven to be successful, hosting cigar makers, music nights, songwriters nights. We're blessed that the Fletcher brothers like coming here.
Yeah.
They were here last Friday night with Mr. Perdomo.
Going to be a guest on our show here coming up.
They are. You have them
Yeah.
lined up? Oh,
Yeah.
Learn something every day. Do we think they'll sing?
I bet you we can.
I bet that.
I got to bring this up real quick, and I know we're running a little short on time, but at an event we had this past week with Nick Perdomo here, and then the Fletcher brothers, who are incredible, played at the end. But Nick kind of told his story a little bit, and he made reference to the fact that regardless of how crazy it sometimes seems, we really are. We're in the greatest country in the world, and how Nick was talking about how blessed he is to be able to get to do what he does and get to do it here, and that prompted, without any planning, without any pre-knowledge, it prompted the Fletchers, before they started their show, to the three of them to get around one microphone and sing the national anthem.
Yeah, it was really.
And it was like an unexpected, incredible moment that it was just something that everybody was taken aback by, and
It's
it
a
was
great example. You
incredible,
just don't
so.
know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that was a great, just impromptu thing
Yeah.
that happened last event
Yeah.
we had here.
And going back to, you talked about the investment and stuff into the system to evacuate the smoke and bring new air in. It's to me, it's the best investment that we could have made, because as a result, we have a lot of couples that will come in here. Females love that they have a place where they can come in. Some of them smoke cigars, but some of them just like to come in and have a drink or spend some time with their husband or whatever, and they can do it without leaving with their eyes watering and needing to shampoo their hair and.
Well, that's one thing that my wife has asked. One of the things that I learned from Jess, our engineer, we can get rid of the smoke, and we can get rid of most of the smell, but the smell sticks.
Yeah.
And so that still sticks to your clothes, and we can't do anything about that. But we did about the smoke itself is gone, and we've actually had customers tell us that when they go home, their wife knows that they've been to Poppa P's. Yeah. Not because of their maybe their credit card bill, but because they don't, their clothes don't smell as bad.
And and the whole thing is, I told these guys in the early stages, I said, the whole goal here is that you still get the aroma of the cigar smoke, because people that are into it like that aroma. I've been sitting outside on the patio having a cigar, and somebody will walk by that just happens to be walking by and said, "Man, that smells good." Mm-hmm. So the whole goal was to, still get, it's a cigar bar.
It is, right.
We wanted that, to have that aroma, but not be sitting in a haze of smoke. I mean, I worked in a place years ago when I first got into the cigar business, and it was a nice big place, but I literally would almost have to take my clothes off on the back porch or in the garage before I,
Well, we've stepped into an opportunity here that, again, 2 years ago we didn't even know we could do, much less be successful at. And at this time, things are going really well, and that's really thanks to our customers. And the success is based on your support. And when we told the designers that we wanted to have this speakeasy look from the door, but as soon as you walked in, you felt like you walked into Cool Springs or Franklin's version of Cheers, where everybody knows your name.
Yep.
And somehow we've done that.
It's just worked, and it's truly been a blast. And we have met the most interesting people here. Some that are going to end up being guests on here just because of their stories, and it's like a family that we've created here. And well, speaking of that. We want to tell you where you can find us.
That's right.
We are at 1935 Mallory Lane, Suite 220, conveniently located 2 doors down from Cool Springs Wines and Spirits. And encourage you to follow us. You can follow us on the socials, Facebook, Poppa P's Smoke Shop, Instagram, Poppa P's Smoke Shop. You just type it in there, it's going to pop up, and you can follow us on our website, www.poppapeas.com. You may want to join our email list, which you can do if you're in here. There's little QR codes out there that you can take you right to it. Or if you just go to our website, you'll see a spot on there where you can join our email list. That will keep you up to date on everything. So, last but not least, we love to hear your feedback. If you got show ideas, you got questions, we're going to do some shows coming up. We're just Q&A with Scott and Dell. So shoot us your feedback, your questions, or anything. You can do that at podcast. I don't know where that came from. Podcast at poppapeas.com. So
yeah. Well, and until next time, we've enjoyed this time. Hope you learned about our journey to from retail to lounge. And we'll see you soon, and look forward to the next opportunity.
And it's been amazing to see where we've come in 18 months since we've been open. Be neat to see where we are 18 months from now. So
right. You're going to keep up to date with our podcast.
Stop in and see us. Take care, everybody.
Much.